me in reciting the four-way test of the things
we think, say, or do?
Is it the
Is it the
truth?
truth?
Is it
Fair
fair
with
to
all
concerned?
concerned?
Will it build
build
goodwill
goodwill
and better
and
friendships?
Will
Will
it
it be beneficial
to all
concerned? Thank you. And so Dan is going to do our invocation today. Dan.
Shall we pray? Gracious God, in this season of gift giving and gift receiving, we are grateful for each other, for community, for the way in which we support one another in building up community. We thank you for the gifts that we give of time and talents and treasures to make our community vibrant and alive, and to reach out with hands and hearts around the world to make a difference in countless people's lives. We realize that the greatest gift we have is to give ourselves, as we do that in our service through Rotary and in many other avenues of life and vocation, in family and schools and medical communities and in business life. You are our strength, and we are grateful for the gift of this season of joy, and we pray for your gladness that it might enlighten all of our hearts and lives. We ask in your gracious name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Dan. All right, introduction of guests. Looking around, past District Governor Rick Bricker, I do not see him. Assistant District Governor Don Peterson. Hi, Don. And District Executive Secretary Gloria Menk. I do not see Gloria. And then Jill Carlson, District Training Committee, and Don Ryan, District Crisis Committee. Again, thank you to you who serve at the district level. All right, Rotary related announcements. Does anybody have a Rotary related announcement? All right, well, I have one for sure. I've been kind of teasing this Tom and Jerry meeting that we're gonna have next Tuesday. Heather and I practiced this morning. And so we are all set and ready to go. The only thing we're going to need from you is an interesting fact about yourself. And so when we get that, we are gonna put together a poll. And we'll answer the questions in live time at our Zoom meeting next Tuesday. So I did this at a conference and it was actually a lot of fun to see everybody's answers. So I hope you are able to join next Tuesday and participate in the fun. So I don't know, Heather, are you on? I know she was kind of traveling from place to place.
I am still here.
And when will you be sending out an email survey question?
I can send that out later this afternoon or evening.
Okay, great. And then we would just ask if you would please respond no later than next Monday morning. So we would have enough time to put everything together for our fun poll. So anyway, I'm looking forward to it. It's something different. At least we can connect with each other virtually if we can't do it in person. Bill.
Are we going to try to guess or is this sharing? Okay. So the most far-fetched thing, the better.
That's right. So what will happen is you'll get 4 answers. One of them is true. The other 3 are not. And a poll will pop up on your screen and you answer it. And then after everybody has answered, I'll share the results of that poll and it'll give the percentages. So I think it's gonna be fun. So
Sounds like it.
So not Tom and Jerry's. I'd have a hard time getting a Tom and Jerry to every single Rotarian, but at least we're doing something. Any other Rotary related announcements? Kind of a slow time of season, so just kind of looking around and I see none. All right, with that, I see that Andy is here with us today. And so I'm gonna just toss it over to you, Andy, if you want to do Sergeant at Arms.
Sounds good. I think as we enter into Christmas season here, it's hopefully some of you have some things to share. I am going to share my screen. One of the nice things when we've had a little bit of cold weather has been that the lakes are frozen, and the number of people I can look out my window and almost any time of the day and see people out walking or cross country skiing or whatever the case may be, and a lot of activity on the lakes. I think people are using it as a big open space, and it's kind of fun. You see people and can say hi and catch up a little bit out there, and that's been a very nice recent addition, I guess, to the 2020. So I wanted to share that. A couple of my kids making some ice snow angels out on the lake and having some fun with that. So I thought I would share. And if anybody else has anything to share, please go ahead.
Hey, Andy, it's Carol Johnson.
Hey, Carol.
Couple things. First of all, my plans changed to go to South Dakota for Christmas. So I am hurriedly packing all my gifts and trying to get on the road today since it's supposed to be a winter storm watch tomorrow. The other thing that I wanted to share is yesterday I had the privilege of delivering gifts for Home Instead Senior Care. And one of the places that I delivered a gift to was Jack Rucker. He wasn't home, so I was really disappointed, but it was really kind of cool to be able to deliver a Secret Santa gift to Jack Rucker. So Merry Christmas all.
Awesome.
I'd like to share. Aaron Anthony here. So 2 weeks ago today, we had our first child. Our daughter, Mylan Marie, was born. So I've had a lot of things going on, haven't been on for a while, but it's been such an exciting time for us. And yeah, 2 weeks old today, time is already flying by. So I can try to email Heather some pictures of her to send out to the group.
Awesome. That'd be great.
I have a gigantic happy dollar, probably more than one, that I'll be giving to Rotary. A year ago, my youngest sister, who's 40, was diagnosed with MS, and she has not had an easy go of it at all. She is one that isn't responding quite well to the medications they're trying. But about 2 weeks ago, she started losing her vision and has been doctoring for the last 2 weeks. And the fear was that she had a lesion on her optic nerve that would need to be dealt with. Her MRI yesterday came back clean. And I'll tell you, did we have a family celebration last night? So they think the medication she's on is actually working, and the vision piece, she's going to see a MS specialist in Fargo that specializes in MS patients with vision issues. But to not have any more lesions was the biggest Christmas gift we could have. So prayer is just so powerful, and it was awesome.
Awesome. That's great.
Well, I have a happy dollar for coming off my 2 weeks of quarantine after my wife came down with COVID, and I couldn't fly to my job out on the East Coast, and I missed bell ringing and everything. So I'm still COVID free and out of quarantine.
Nice.
I have a couple of happy dollars.
Okay.
So Adam Reese, one was we have 3 international students with us that my daughter brought home from her boarding school in Fergus Falls, Hillcrest Academy, and one's from China, one's from Vietnam, and one's from South Korea. And it's just a joy to have them around. They've taken over the kitchen and they're making Chinese dumplings right now, which has me really hungry. And then another happy dollar, I suppose a sad dollar was we had to cancel some travel, but the happy dollar was doing the bell ringing, which was certainly a very pleasant surprise and wonderful to do. But the most exciting thing we did was we did old-fashioned caroling sing-along, where we went to shut-ins on Saturday and got to 4 homes, and it was just an absolute blast. I think I really needed to be out and about and just singing positive songs of praise was truly spectacular. So anyhow, that's what I wanted to share with you all. Thank you for listening.
This is Paula. I have a happy dollar. Dan Clement and I happen to share a pastor, and they've been sending out things about hymns. And Dan did a write-up about having a God moment in Rotary Park. But what concerned me a little bit was Bill Potvin was part of that God moment. I thought Bill Potvin being the God moment, I thought was a little interesting. And I don't remember Dan's exact moment or what he said, but it was kind of cute. And I like to see it when they bring up Rotary and anything. So I thought I'd throw in a buck for that.
This is Dan. If Potvin's beard gets a lot longer, he'll start looking like God. He could play the part. It's just a thought. So I got a happy dollar. I am speaking to, Jill Carlson's Money Smarts class at 1 o'clock today. So I'm taking the presentation I do on choices and just, adding a money and debt component to it. But I really enjoy speaking to her class because we've got plenty of time and the kids can interact and ask questions. And so it's always a good way to spend an hour. I think the kids really get some good information out of it.
Well, I think that I can give something that's called maybe $5 for this one. Our youngest daughter in Plymouth and her family went on quarantine here a couple of weeks ago for the express purpose of getting sure that mom and dad could be with them at Christmas time. And we are leaving tomorrow, coming back on Saturday.
That is exciting.
David here with a happy dollar. Maybe I'll throw in 5 for this one. Yesterday was my birthday, 68, and I was looking for the new tax credit for solar to get passed, and it happened. So we now have 2 more years of an investment tax credit for solar, and that's going to help all of us that are in the mission to get solar on everybody's home.
Dan Clement here. I have a happy sad dollar. A week from Thursday, we will be leaving for a sunnier climate in Naples, Florida, but it's a sad dollar. They're leaving the beauty of this area right here and the lovely outdoors. Driving through the pine forest outside our house here is really beautiful this time of year.
Sam Anderson from Minnesota Adult Teen Challenge. Happy dollar. I had a mild case of COVID and I'm recovered and back at work and happy for that and very grateful. And we're graduating 9 men from our program today.
Oh, awesome.
So Andy, first of all, it's so fun to hear everybody, really a lot of people participating today in Happy Dollars. So Heather sent me a sample poll. So my happy dollar is going to be a sneak preview of what you guys get to do next week. So I'm going to go ahead and launch this poll. So I think we have 27 people or 29 people. I see right now 23 have responded to our poll.
Just one question?
Yes. Just one. Oh, sorry. I thought you were asking me. Just one question. Yep, we just have one question on the poll. Okay, so there you go. Are you ready for Christmas? And here are the results. So we have 21 people, 88% are ready for Christmas, and 3 or 13% are not. And then I'll add a real happy dollar. And my happy dollar is I'm luckily traveling on Christmas Eve, so I'm going to miss the snowstorm that's coming tomorrow as far as my travels. And I'm going to go spend a couple of days with my oldest daughter in St. Paul, and really looking forward to at least being with family this Christmas. So grateful for that.
Excellent. Anyone else have any? Well, that was great to have everybody, a lot of participation there, and hopefully we'll continue that trend into the new year. Thanks, everyone.
This is Ron. I would be remiss, and my wife would kill me if I didn't advise that we just passed our 56th anniversary, and we celebrated it in fashion like we did a million years ago. And we had lunch at White Castle. We went on at the lake for a boat ride and came back for Harold's Club Cowboys. So that was our 56th. Been together a long time. She's going to say something. Go ahead.
And we're in Arizona.
And we're in Arizona. Okay.
Just to make us all jealous with a huge snowstorm coming tomorrow.
Oh, yes.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a Merry Christmas.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Andy. So before we move on to our presentation today, I did get a chat from Nick. Nick, are you there? Yes, if you would give us an update, that would be fabulous. So we have a delayed Rotary announcement.
Thanks. So over the past 4 or 5 months, me and some other individuals in all 3 of the local Rotary clubs have been meeting and discussing an opportunity for fundraising, partially to replace the Strive golf outing, but also to increase ideally the revenue of that. So what the opportunity we have on the table is to be participants on the charity committee for the CRMC golf tournament for next summer. The tournament week is going to be in August. Craigan's has graciously offered that us, along with CRMC and potentially other charities, will be able to get a share of the proceeds from fundraising events during that week without having to share in any of the financial liability. So if, heaven forbid, and I don't think this will be the case given the opportunity, but if it's a bust, Rotary loses nothing. And if it goes off the way that we expect it to, Rotary can make potentially tens of thousands of dollars towards the local Strive organization. In addition to that, there's going to be opportunities for other fundraising events that haven't necessarily been earmarked to organizations. One example that was brought up would be to assist in parking, kind of like what we do for the Haunted Trail, but on a little bit larger scale. And those dollars could go towards other purposes, whether it be Rotary at large or other community organizations would be determined ultimately by the charity committee. So the decision before our club is whether or not we want to participate in the subcommittee, which would then result in 1 to 3 members of the subcommittee being on the overall charity committee. There is a document as well. Hopefully that can get shared out in the post-meeting email.
Yeah, Nick, that would be great. Do you have that document? If you could send it to me and.
Yeah, I actually did send it to you this morning. It was late notice.
Thank you. Sorry.
Yep, no worries.
Meetings all morning, so.
No worries.
Nick, if I might embellish it just a little bit, we're actually going to be involved in 2 days. Sunday night, which will be a gala, and we haven't totally figured out what it's all going to look like, but silent auction, live auction, and then the tournament. And I think the other footnote is we're already concerned about the tournament and whether it's going to happen, because as you know, the Canadian border is still closed. And the agreement we have with Craigan's is that our 2-day event would happen if the other event gets canceled. We would just redo our 2-day event. So it's pretty much uncertain on the calendar. I think that's important when you look at it. Thanks, Nick.
Yeah, and for me, the biggest piece is, again, the no financial liability. Our role would be to help make some decisions and ultimately sell tickets, which we're good at selling tickets, right, guys?
All right, thank you, Nick and Ron, for that update.
Thank you.
All right, and now for the next thing on our agenda is our presentation. Oh, okay, but first, I'm sorry, the baby stole the, what's your baby's name?
Mylan Marie.
Oh, hi.
Sorry, Aaron, I think she was talking about the baby on screen, but Andrew says hi.
Sorry.
Sorry, got distracted. All right, so our presentation today is from Aaron Wilmot. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. All right, with the shop. And so, Aaron, I'm just going to turn it over to you, and thank you so much for joining Rotary today and being willing to speak to us and give us a presentation.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is my second Rotary meeting ever in my time as executive director for the shop here. So this is when you said that this was a light group, I was like, oh, holy moly, here's me feeling like this is the biggest Zoom meeting I've ever been in. So that was my, so if this is light, ooh, I can only imagine the fun you guys have in person. So for those of you who don't know, the shop is a drop-in youth center here in Brainerd on the corner of Washington Street and South 8th Street, formerly Citadel Games, and I think a florist before that, if my history serves. And we serve youth who are ages 14 to 22 in providing them a safe space to pre-COVID, hang out with their peers and positive adult mentors and just spend time together. Sorry, my dog all of a sudden has decided she needs my undivided attention, of course. And so pre-COVID, we would do a lot of educational programming. We have a lot of partnerships with different local community organizations, like the We Are Clinic did a monthly sex talks with us. So just provided a lot of that reproductive health education for the youth, as well as healthy relationships and boundaries and all of those things that go into having relationships, as well as we also did life talks on a monthly basis as well, which was more focused around mental health. Naturally, most of our programs have changed pretty significantly since this spring and with the impacts of COVID. And so what we've kind of done to adapt, which has been kind of like the motto of the year. I feel like it has, I hadn't been in my role for a year yet when all of this happened. So it's been a very interesting year to learn how to be an executive director of a small nonprofit. But so what we did then is during that first original round of shutdown was we kind of transformed the shop into a hub for food distribution. Part of what we would do normally is we serve a after school snack and an evening meal. We're open from 3 to 8 Wednesday through Saturday. And so the youth were pretty accustomed to being able to show up during those after school times and have some snacks available. And then we would do dinner around 5 or 5:30. And so we wanted to make sure that we could at least keep fulfilling that need for the youth that we work with. And so that's what we did. And we were so incredibly fortunate to have so much community support from individuals and organizations who kind of helped us get that started and figured out. We had a lot of donations of food and to-go container items and PPE, hand sanitizer, all the things. And it was wonderful. I've lived in Brainerd for, it was 10 years this past August. So I'm a transplant from the Duluth area. And I worked in local nonprofits I think pretty much the entire time that I've lived here. And this, since coming over to the shop, has been just a huge demonstration of the community that we have here that I wasn't experiencing in my other roles. So that was really fantastic. And to see all of the good work that gets done in this community and the people who are the driving force behind it, like you guys, was really fantastic. And I feel really fortunate that that has been my experience of this time, because it's been overwhelmingly positive in that regard. So we did food distribution and we were able to open back up for a few months in June. And then, we followed regulations with safety in numbers and social distancing, and we have masks available and continued with meals and allowed youth to come and pick up food items if they were not in town. And we've tried to adapt a little bit again to these different situations and kind of create a virtual presents for the shop, and we kind of started on a really rigorous daily routine. And, you know, to tell you the truth, youth, especially the youth who were doing the distance learning, were pretty tapped out on the virtual meeting front by that time. So that wheel was not maybe our greatest invention. So now that we have been closed again since November, or the later November, we've kind of taken this and adjusted it a little bit, and kind of have shifted the way that we're providing contact to the youth in more of a street outreach model right now. So we have been still doing meals and preparing those that youth are able to pick up, but you know, it's a pretty big difference from how nice it is outside in spring to walk on over to the shop and get your meal versus when it's 20 degrees outside. And so myself and my staff person, Nate, are setting up delivery options, and we're calling it the shop cart, you know, after our name there. And so we are starting that off with not only the meals that we have through the shop, but we are also working with Sprout to, and they're doing a frozen meal program. So we just added another additional freezer to our facility to store some of those Sprout meals as well. And so then when we're doing these deliveries, we have a hot meal that's ready to go and eat for the youth and their families. And then we're also sending some of these frozen meals that they can take and cook at a later time. So that way, you know, we make sure that everybody's covered there, at least as far as food goes. And we also provide hygiene supplies and other non-perishable food items that they can keep around the house, all of that stuff. We're actually tomorrow, and now that I've been hearing all about this winter storm stuff, I'm feeling a little bit of trepidation about doing our Christmas deliveries tomorrow, but you know, we'll make it work. I feel like it will go for as long as we can. And if for some reason, you know, it's not a good idea for us to be out and about driving anymore, we'll adjust and deliver at a later date. But we have some Christmas stockings full of all sorts of goodies with hygiene products and warm socks and blankets and some gift cards to local areas for the youth to use. And so we're really looking forward to being able to kind of do our own little Christmas trek around town tomorrow and visit some of these youth who, many of whom we haven't seen even since this new recent round of closure, because they live out of town and haven't been coming in for school, or just because that's the option that their family has chosen right now, is to stay safe and stay close to home. And that's all totally understandable. So I'm very much looking forward to being able to see them. And that's kind of where we are right now, is kind of adjusting to the uncertainty of, we've got our tentative reopening date of January 11th, provided nothing else changes. I kind of just wait till the day before I officially decide those things to be safe. And yeah, we're hoping to be able to have youth back in the building in limited quantities, of course, because I love seeing them. I love doing the food delivery and having all this contact. But what we do and the nature of what we do is based so much in that positive connection and relationship. And I miss that a ton. And so we're really looking forward to having them again. Some positives: one of our youth volunteers that that has worked with us really closely and is a youth member on our board found out that she is accepted to the University of Oregon, which is her dream school to go to for marine biology. So we had a small celebration for that just before the closures in November happened. And so I'm again just very grateful that this is what I get to spend my days doing, and to have an impact on the youth that we have in this community, and who, you know, are very much the future of our community and what we do. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. Just this great big wheel of constant change and adjusting, and still trying to serve in, you know, the safest and best ways that we can. Are there any questions that you guys have for me at all?
I have a question for you. So does the shop partner with other organizations?
Yeah, we do a different, you know, it kind of is an opportunity-based situation. Sprout reached out to us because they knew we were doing this food distribution. We've also done work again, pre-COVID in the past with some local churches, with helping out at like the booths at the fair and the diners and all of that stuff. We think that community partnership and also service to community is a hugely important thing that we want to share with the youth that we serve as well. So yeah, we're always open to collaboration and partnering for different programs, projects, whatever it might be.
So I'm just thinking out loud here, which can get me into trouble. But, with Crowing Energized, are you familiar with that health and wellness movement?
Yeah.
They have a lot of free materials, and for instance, if some of the youth are struggling with not getting adequate sleep at night or dealing with a lot of anxiety, they have tools and practices that people can do to help basically center themselves and reach a more peaceful state without resorting to drugs and other sorts of things. So, if there's ever any interest in that area and you haven't explored it already, anyone involved, including myself, would be more than willing to help you get connected.
Yeah, thank you so much. I know we have done things with Crowing Energized in the past, and I participate on some of their smaller groups. But yeah, it's always good to know what's available, because I surely would never claim to know every support and tool that's out there.
The other question I had for you too, and I appreciate all that you're doing and your organization, is connecting with some of the church-based youth groups. I know there's the Bay, I'm probably mispronouncing it, Bay something or other rally, but I know they have some different groups out there, and I know they're always looking for more people to be involved.
Yeah, we have some youth who do kind of do some of that double dipping, as I call it, where they will participate in both groups as well. And we have some who are hesitant just because of the experiences that they have had in the past or within their own families. And so we are certainly open to partnering with we have a really positive relationship with Park United and the UCC, who are right near us by Gregory Park. And we have done, because they're in walking distance, which is really nice. But yeah, we're open to all of those things as well. And we're always happy to have new people come in and also to go out and do things with other groups as well.
Erin, hi, this is Christy Westbrook. I've heard, maybe just through the grapevine, that you struggle with homeless youth, and that youth having a place to sleep at night and a place to go. Can you talk about what that need is that you see in the community, and if there's any opportunities or outlets that you are looking for help with that?
Yeah, definitely. We've been fortunately for during COVID here, we've actually, a lot of the youth that we see pretty regularly who have been homeless or have tended to experience homelessness more regularly are in positions where they have worked with like Lutheran Social Services to get into housing through their programs. But outside of COVID, it is something, especially during the warmer months, is something that is really prevalent. We always at least have a handful of youth who are either couch hopping or, when the weather's nice, they'll camp somewhere, and then, they'll shower at the Salvation Army and then come over to the shop, and we usually, hook them up. And I myself and my staff, do our best to try to get these kids connected through these different programs in the community. And then, then the follow through kind of comes back on their end there. So sometimes that's there and sometimes that's not. And we do the best we can to set them up as successfully as possible. And as I have a bi-weekly meeting with another executive director of a youth center in Northfield, Minnesota, and their program has a housing program that I'm very interested in, but it's we're not quite at the point where we would be set up to have something similar like that at this moment. But that is something that and I know that this is probably something all of you know definitely as well, is that homelessness in our area is something where we're kind of lacking supports, and especially for youth who are experiencing this as well. The closest place I have to turn anybody is St. Cloud, and for some of the youth that we're working with, that would be a really unsafe decision for them. Some of them can be very vulnerable, and so that feels, and they agree with that as well. They want to stay close to what they know, and others who are pretty independent have also gone and been successful in going to St. Cloud and getting set up through their program and kind of getting on their feet and getting stuff going as well. But yeah, I'm not sure exactly what a fix for that would look like, but we are definitely in need of homelessness support and a specific program for youth homelessness as well.
Do you take, thank you for that. I think homelessness is something that we really need to look at especially in Crow Wing County and what we can do to help remedy some of that. One other question for you. Do you accept hygiene donations? And specifically when I was traveling a lot, I always grabbed the shampoo and conditioner and that kind of stuff that I didn't use. And just wondering if that's something that you take there.
Yeah, that is, we take hygiene supply donations. We take clothing donations as well, as food, financial donation, all of those things. And so right now they kind of I have a little area in our front room that I just call, donation timeout right now, where they sit and have their own little quarantine period before we dig through them and add them to what we have on hand already. But yep, we are still taking donations for hygiene supplies as well as clothing.
So I have a question, Erin. This is for, so I know 2020 is probably not the year to ask this question, but how about 2019? About how many kids do you think, in a normal year?
Yeah.
Through your program?
So the numbers that I typically used for 2019, yeah, it's going to be very interesting when I have to do proper documentation later on and just call 2020 a weird one. But in 2019, we were on average of the days that we were open, we were serving between, and it varied a lot depending on season, anywhere between 20 to 40 meals a day for the youth in our area. Those summer tends to be busier but kind of lighter, like kids will show up because we do we've always done like hourly counts for how many people we have in the building, and the youth sign in when they arrive, and so both of those things are kept track of. And I think from my last grant thing that I had to go through and write, that last winter, so last November and December, I think it was in the upper 200 contacts with you. So that's coming in the door, kids who are eating, kids who are, utilizing the donations and all of those things. So that was about pre-COVID, how many people we'd see on average for those fall months.
And maybe just one follow-up question. Yeah. I think you said 14 to 22 was the age range. And what do you think your median age is of the kids that are coming in?
Yeah, right now, so it kind of ebbs and flows. When I started, our group was a little bit on the older end of the spectrum, so like 17 to 21. But since then, so I started in June of 2019. And then as we moved into fall, we got a lot of our Girls Who Code group, our Rainbow Road groups and different things going. And I was also invited to do a win time offering weekly at the high school. Prior to being at the shop, I was a mental health practitioner for Northern Pines as part of the team that is contracted at BHS. And so they all knew who I was and asked when they had a shortage if I would be willing to come in and do that. And so I did. And so then that drew in a crowd of younger for our age range kids to be coming in. So now I would say we are much closer to like between the 14 to 17. We see much more of them than the older group. And I really value us being able to serve up to the age of 22. I think as far as, youth terms go, like technically I could go to 24 or 26, I can't remember. But I really feel like that age range is important because we have some older youth who are great role models and have been fantastic for younger youth who have questions about, like having a job. How do you have a conversation with your boss, especially if it's something where you're bringing up a concern? And they've had some really excellent examples for that, or getting your first apartment. And I know that I was not imbued with magical adult knowledge when I turned 18. And so I really think it's important for us to still provide this kind of safe space. I call it a touch tree for those older kids. So we don't see them as often. because they're out, whether they're going to school or working more hours than they had been before. They will still come and check in, grab something to eat, say, hey, have a conversation, and then they're kind of back out in the world. So it's their place that they can kind of come check back in and know that they have people that they can rely on or ask for help if they need it as they adjust into that new adult independence. So I'm really glad that we are able to do that, because yeah, I loved all the supports that I still had when I was 18 and utilized all of that as well. So
Thank you. Are there other questions of Aaron? All right. Well, seeing none, Aaron, thank you so much for taking time to come give us a presentation on the shop, and very interesting and a great organization that we have here in the city of Brainerd. So much appreciated.
yeah, thank you so much for having me. I always appreciate coming to talk, and I look forward to seeing you guys in real life again.
And we do have a lot more fun in person. I mean, we have fun here virtually, but we have a lot more fun when we're all in person.
Yeah. I think I'm more fun in person, so I feel that.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Is there anything else to come before Rotary? Once again, giving you back 15 minutes of your time, and we save some time on the front end, not eating. So get you out on the back end. Thank you very much. I hope you all have a very Merry Christmas. Stay tuned for Heather's email. Please make sure that you respond when you get her email, and join for the Tom and Jerry Trivia Fun meeting on Tuesday, the 28th. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas all.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Ho, ho, ho.